Hey everybody, welcome to your horoscopes for this week. These are the horoscopes for the week ending May 7th, 2016. It's official. We're in the first week of May already in 2016, if you can believe it. And we still are in a 5-planet retrograde this week. We will be for this week, and then one of those planets is going direct next week. So we're going to get right to it and see who's most affected by that. So we're going to go ahead and get started as we always do with Aries. Now Uranus and Pluto are still in that squared position. We're getting closer and closer and closer to that breaking up for a bit, and you guys getting a break from it because it's been going on for so long now. It's almost, we almost might even not know what to do once that aspect breaks up. It's been going on for so long. Now, this particular aspect, of course, is really making you feel like when it comes to what you want to do and achieving your goals, you're doing it alone. Like you don't have a heck of a lot of support for what it is that you want to do. And that can be very frustrating. It can be daunting, and it can definitely make you feel like, you know, maybe you're not going in the right direction or you're not on the right track. However, Uranus is still in trine position with Saturn, and even though Saturn is retrograde, Saturn's retrograde is perfect to show you what your own responsibility is. And the most important relationship, of course, that you have in your life is your relationship to yourself. Now the truth is that some of the greatest people, Einstein was one of those people. Thomas Edison was one of those people. Everybody laughed at what they wanted to do. Everybody thought that they were absolutely crazy for their ideas. But the truth is, if it wasn't for these people, we wouldn't really have some of the things that we do right now. Like, for instance, the light bulb. It's really, really important, of course, but at the time when these things came out, it was new and people thought it was kind of whacked out. So it's really important. These two aspects working together are reminding you that sometimes these goals are actually, you know, meant for you, not necessarily for everybody to jump on a bandwagon and help you out with them. Now, if you feel like the world is against you, a lot of the time when you feel like the world is against you, it means you're doing something really, really important, and you gotta believe in that this week. So don't let the lack of support bring you down when it comes to these goals. This particular instance and this particular energy is here to remind you of what you can do and what you can do on your own, and the power that you have to be able to do these things. You don't need a crowd to do them. You got to remember that. So this week, really, really, really just tap into your own personal power and your own personal responsibility for your goals and dreams, because the truth is, whether you had support or not, nobody's going to put into those particular goals that you have quite like you, because you understand the importance of them way more than anybody else does. So you guys have a great week with that. Taurus, happy birthday to all the bulls that are born this week, especially the most important bull in my life, and that would be my son Michael. He's going to be 22 this week. I can hardly believe it, but it's true. So happy birthday, Mikey. I hope you have an absolutely great day, and we're going to keep your birthday going into the week as much as we possibly can. Now, for everybody else, of course, we know the sun is in Taurus, and Venus just popped into your sign this week. And as she moves into conjunction with the sun, Mercury is retrograde in Taurus and moving back into conjunction with the sun. All three of these planets are moving into a grand Earth trine when Jupiter and Pluto are going to line up with these three planets. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing aspect. Now, and at the end of the week, the moon's going to join these three planets too and make it a 4-planet conjunction. So it's really powerful this week. You know, when you're talking grand Earth trines, Earth signs are the ones that get things organized and get things done. We couldn't do anything in this world without our Earth signs. So when you bring all three Earth signs together, magical things happen, and it's all pointed towards your career goals and objectives. All of those things you've been planning and wanting to do, this week it's time to really get things done. You're going to find yourself in that position where you can shine as far as those goals and dreams, and really find yourself standing on that mountain looking down and saying, hey, I actually did this. I actually got to this place. It was really difficult, but I made it. I did it. And it's a wonderful feeling. Now, at the same time, There are times when people have a tendency to get a little bit daunted by that energy, but this is not the week to do that. You've got to stand in your power, guys. You've got to shine like nobody's business, and you've got to show people just what love looks like, because you guys are beings of love. You're beings of light, and it's time for you guys to stand on that mountain and shine that light out to everybody else, because the more you do that, the more other people can feel it, and you're making a difference for them. So you guys have a great week with that. Gemini, the part of fortune kicks off this week in your sign, bringing you some luck when it comes to your career objectives and gathering the support you need to get those career goals taken care of. Now, a lot of Geminis are kind of lone wolves. They prefer to be on their own and doing things on your own. But this week, it's really important to have that support around you. And here's why that support is so important. When you're doing everything on your own, you have to do everything. That means that you have to take care of all the minor details and the major details. And what happens when you do something like that is you get yourself so overwhelmed, the chances of success are not very good, because by the time you get to that success, you wind up falling apart and everything kind of sort of falls apart around you. This week, it's time to stop that cycle. This is a cycle that you may have had yourself in, before, or you may have found yourself in this cycle before. But at the same time, there have been other instances where you have found that groups of people come together, and not only do you have the assistance and support that you need in order to get things done, there's also some other ideas that come into these particular goals that really make it work. And it's not saying that you can't come up with these ideas. It's saying that with all of these people come together, you have more time to come up with these ideas yourself, and also you're allowing these people to come in with their particular points of view to really make this particular goal a solid goal and something that's really going to become something. So this week, embrace that support system that you have. Embrace that team that you have, because the truth is, you don't have to do everything on your own. Being the leader of this glorious team is just as good, if not better in some cases. So you guys have a great week with that. Cancer, the part of fortune comes into your sign Tuesday through Thursday this week, bringing you luck in love. And we all could use a little bit of luck in love. Now, for you guys this week, it's really this luck in love is actually love being projected back at you from those around you, those really important people in your circle. And this is a reflection of the love that you portray out to everybody else, because of course, being the typical Cancer that you are, you're the nurturer, you're the lover, you're everything to everybody else. And when it reflects back on you from these other people, it's actually showing a reflection of that beautiful energy that's deep down inside yourself. And it's also reminding you just how much that feeling feels fantastic, and reminding you that you can tap into that feeling at any time by showing that love to yourself. As much of that energy as you project out to every single lovely, important person around you, you have to give that to you as well. Always first, actually. We always want to give our that love to ourselves first, and then spread it out to everybody else. By doing this, it keeps your vibration higher, it keeps your mindset in a better place, and you don't feel like you're putting everything out there to everybody else and not really seeing a lot in return. But this week, you are going to be seeing a lot in return. So enjoy it, bask in it, bathe in that beautiful love feeling, because the truth is, that is one of the most important feelings we can get in the world these days. So you guys have a great week with that. Leo, it is lucky to be you this week, especially at the end of the week as the part of fortune comes into your sign Thursday and all the way through the end of this week. Of course, when the focus is on yourself and the focus is on being yourself, it's a beautiful thing, but it can actually be a difficult thing at the same time. A lot of people don't like focusing on themselves, and Leos are no exception to that rule. Now, when we're talking about this lucky to be you, it's really a reflection of all of the things that make you lucky, all of the good things that make you the person that you are right now. And even though this can be a little bit of a heavy thing to be really looking deep down into yourself, it may even shake you up to your core, you're going to find some beautiful pieces of yourself that maybe you haven't looked at in a while, or you haven't thought about in a while, or you haven't really played with in a while, if you know what I mean. And it's always a good thing to take a look at that, because in this day and age, with all of the things going on in our lives, with all of the stresses that we deal with, a lot of the times we tend to spend too much time reflecting on those things that maybe we fall short of. Like, for instance, we could have been really good at something 20 years ago, but we're just not as good at that now. And you know what? That's okay, because it was replaced with something else that we're really good at now that we weren't really good at 20 years ago. So this week, it's time to have that little bit of a reflection and a little bit of a pep talk with yourself. Really pay attention to those things that are wonderful about you. And those things that aren't so wonderful about you, you have the power to change those things, believe it or not. So look at those in a positive mindset too, and look at them honestly, because the more you look at them honestly, the better you stand, or a better chance you have in order to make the changes that you want to make. So you guys have a great week with that. Virgo, Jupiter is spending his last full week in retrograde in your sign, and he's moving direct at the beginning of next week, which is good, because with 5 planets in retrograde, it's nice to have one going direct here pretty soon. Now, he is, of course, still in that T-squared position with Neptune, Saturn, and Mars. Mars is still very, very much a part of that aspect, and it's really bringing you a lot of challenges around your relationships and your finances. These are 2 very important aspects of any person's life, especially a Virgo. And when you find yourself being challenged in this way, the challenge can be overwhelming to the point of feeling like you're being buried by it. But the good news is that Jupiter's placement in this grand Earth trine with Pluto, the Sun, Venus, and Mercury, that's 5 planets in this big, beautiful grand Earth trine, is a counterbalance to that very difficult, challenging aspect, giving you a chance to redefine your goals, to really look at where it is that you want to go, and to really identify what you need to change and what you need to do in order to get past this challenge. And it's putting you in an empowering position rather than feeling like you're in the position of trying to swim upstream and you just can't do it. This T-square is making you feel like you're swimming upstream, but the grand Earth trine comes in like a big old log that you can grab onto that turns you around and allows you to swim in a direction that's a little bit easier for you. So it really is like a huge life raft that's really going to help you out. So this week, pay attention to what you can do, the things that you can do to change this situation, or the things that you can do to maybe redefine those goals. Because of course, if you're focused on the challenge and what you can't do, you're not going to get anywhere with that. You have to focus on what you can do, and remember who you are. You're Virgos. Nobody tells Virgos that they can't do it. Well, actually, maybe I should tell you guys that you can't do it, because if I do that, then maybe you'll call me up and you'll say, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong. That's what that grand Earth trine is all about. So you guys, hold on to that empowerment, because it's time for you guys to shine pretty soon. So you guys have a great week with that. Libra, when your mind seems to run away from you, it's time to put some boundaries on it, and that's all about what it is this week for you guys. When you're going through challenges and you're facing challenges, it's very easy for the mind to want to go to the worst case scenario, or possibly come up with assumptions for the particular situation, so that rather than actually trying to do anything about it, you stop yourself right there because you automatically say it's not going to happen or you can't do it. This week, it's all about turning that around. when you're faced with this challenge and your mind wants to go in these different directions, you have to tell your mind to stop, and only you have control over that. You can, for instance, if somebody says no, you can't do something that you want to do, or something may or may not be available to you in order for you to get something done, the mind will go straight to it's not available. It didn't hear it may be available. It heard it's not available. So I'm not even going to bother doing anything about it. Well, this week, you need to stop doing that and go to it may or may not. Let me go check it out. Let me go see what I can do about that. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to do whatever it is that I need to do in order to find out what I can do. And stop your mind from going into these directions that are stopping you. When your mind does this, it freezes you, and it freezes you in this fear place so that you know without a doubt that you're not going to be able to move out of this situation. And do you want to move out of the situation, or do you want to stay in the situation that you're in? It's really up to you. So this week, make that choice. Stay or move forward. And if you choose move forward, then you better have a talk with your brain and tell it that we're going to be thinking the way you want it to think and not the way it's been thinking all this time. So you guys have a great week with that. Scorpio, the dark moon is in your sign this week, calling for change in the way you think about certain situations, specifically situations around the home or dealing with the foundation of your goals. Now, the typical person's mind, it doesn't matter what sign you are, we all have that tendency to think at the worst case scenario. And this is what we're talking about when it comes to making a change in the way that you think about something or the way that you look at something. And if you're dealing with a difficulty or a circumstance that might be challenging for you, the brain's automatically going to go to the worst case scenario. And it is going to convince you that there is nothing you can do about it. So why even try? Well, this week it's time for you to take control of that brain. That brain belongs to you. You own that organ in your body. Nobody can control it but you. And when you're thinking on a negative level, you're going to be feeling in a negative place at the same time. And this just makes the situation worse and worse and worse as you feel more and more and more stuck in this situation. And you don't want to be stuck. The truth is, there is nothing in life that can stick us. We have the power to make whatever change that we want to make, but we have to be the one to initiate that change and actually do something about it. And a lot of the time, our own mind will stop us from doing that simply because it allows us to be so scared of the change that we decide we'd rather stay stuck where we are. And that just isn't very much fun if you think about it. So this week, allow the dark moon and allow these circumstances that are coming into your life to help you change your mindset. Once you change the mindset, it changes the way you feel about the situation. And when you change the way you feel about the situation, you have more power to make the situation what you want it to be, rather than dealing with it the way that it is. So you guys have a great week with that. Sagittarius, Saturn and Mars is still in retrograde and still in that T-squared position with Jupiter and Neptune. And this particular aspect this week is really having you feeling old challenges and old difficulties, especially financial difficulties, and their effects on your home or foundation. It's really a difficult aspect. Now, it's difficult enough when it's affecting you, but when you feel like this is also affecting, or the situation that you're in is also affecting your family, it makes it an even more difficult aspect, or a much more difficult challenge from the beginning. I mean, you can handle anything, but when it comes to the rest of your circle or the rest of the people in your family, now you really feel like you might be dropping the ball on the situation, or even being able to fix this situation. Now, the good news is that Saturn's trine with Uranus is providing something else for you to focus on. It's a different goal. It's not necessary. It doesn't have anything to do with finances. It doesn't even really have to do with family. It just provides something else for you to focus on. And even if it's a small goal, accomplishing something really helps when you're focused on a bigger situation that you need to deal with. a lot of the time, the reason why we have trouble overcoming these obstacles is because the challenges are so great. It puts us in this feeling like we can't get over the challenge. So being able to accomplish any little thing, even if it's doing all of your dishes and cleaning your kitchen, makes you feel so much better because you've done something, you've moved forward in something. So this week, and Mars retrograde in your sign is definitely difficult because when Mars is in retrograde, it feels like it drains you of your energy. But this week, this is another goal. It's a small goal that you can accomplish, an easy goal for you to accomplish. And once you do that, you can pick another easy goal to accomplish. And as you're doing that, you're allowing this bigger situation to kind of work itself out for a while rather than spending so much time focusing and worrying about it. Once you do that, you'll feel that empowerment. You'll be able to deal with the difficult situation or the challenges. And you never know, some of that challenge may have worked itself out when you weren't paying attention, because that happens too sometimes. So you guys have a great week with that. Capricorn, Pluto in your sign is aspecting with almost every other planet in the sky this week. Every other planet, with the exception of Saturn and Mars, because they're just a little bit too close being in Sagittarius. It's a big, big, big week for you Capricorns. Now, of course, that Pluto is still squared with Uranus, and this is going to cause some difficulties when you've got some goals you're focused on and you just can't seem to get a leg ahead in those particular plans. But the good news is that Pluto's grand Earth trine with the Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter, and Pluto's grand sextile with the Sun, Venus, and Neptune all provide this beautiful energy towards getting a lot of things done. And not only that, but it's really helping you out with some old ideas, some things that you've done before, those tried and true things that you've done or used in order to achieve your goals. And in some, it's also going to give you the financial backing you need. It gives you the support you need. The truth is, and the biggest thing about these particular aspects you got this little difficult challenge here that says, no, you can't do this. But everything is open to you over here. So you want your focus to be over here. You want your focus to be on what's flowing, where the energy is flowing, where things are coming to you and things are moving forward. And that one goal that just isn't really working, don't worry about it right now. Just because you walk away from it now doesn't mean that you can't pick it up a month from now or 2 weeks from now or 6 months from now. It just may not be the right time for that particular goal, and you need to give it some time in order for it to grow into what it's supposed to be. This is also a lesson on forcing things. You never want to force things to happen. The universe doesn't like it when you try to force things to happen. Let it be what it is, and allow yourself to focus on what is working, what is moving right now, and also allow yourself to enjoy what you've accomplished up to this point, because the truth is there's no point in accomplishing it if you don't take the time to step back and enjoy your hard work, right? So this week, that's what it's all about. Enjoy what you've done so far, allow what is moving to keep on going, and walk away right now from the things that aren't moving very quickly right now, because the truth is they will later. I guarantee it. So you guys have a great week with that. Aquarius, focus is on some of your relationships this week, and again, not always an easy thing for Aquarians to do. Now, I'm an Aquarian, so I understand this one. It's not that Aquarians don't like other people or don't get along with other people or just prefer to be by themselves because they don't want to deal with other people, or that we put ourselves above other people for that matter. It has nothing to do with that. But one of the typical Aquarian Achilles heel type situations is that Aquarians are very unique individuals, and other points of view can be very difficult for an Aquarian because we tend to believe that we're right about everything, and our way of doing things is the only way of doing things. And the truth is, if we were all supposed to be like that, we all would have been born like that. We're not. We're all different. And this week is all about embracing that different and embracing the way that other people do things and allowing other people to do things the way that they want to do them. The truth is, by bringing these other perspectives in, you're taking this out of a very black and white viewpoint, which Aquarians have for the most part, and allowing some color to come in. And really, when you look at it, the world is so much more beautiful with that color. The black and white, you remember when TV was just black and white? It wasn't as fun as when they added color to it, and you could see the colors of the pretty dresses that the ladies were wearing and the colors of the flowers in the front yard, instead of looking at it in black and white and wondering maybe what color it was. So this week, allow people to be who they are. You can learn something from this, believe it or not. And you're also allowing people to empower themselves just by being who they are, which really, when you think about it, that is the Aquarian way. So you guys have a great week with that. And finally, Pisces. Neptune is still in that T-square with Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars this week, and it's still a bone of contention when it comes to finances. Now, finances are, when you're having troubles with finances, it always seems to take over your entire life. It's really difficult to do anything that you want to do when you don't have the money to do it. And because it's such a big part of our society, we are so programmed to think that if we don't have money, we can't do something. And it's really, it really is frustrating. Now, the good news, though, is that Neptune's grand sextile with Pluto, Venus, the Sun, and the Moon at the end of the week is providing you with an opportunity to look past those finances and see that even if you can't change your financial situation, it doesn't have to hold you back from what you want to do. Money or lack of money is not going to get in the way of you shining in what it is that you're meant to do. It might make it easier to get there, but it doesn't mean that if you don't have money, you're not going to get there. And that's what's important. It's not the situation or the lack of money that is the problem. It's how you are handling this situation that is the problem. So this week, use that energy the way it's meant to be used. Don't let your financial frustrations get in the way of being able to do what it is that you want to do. Because the truth is, people are not successful because they have all the tools to be successful. They're successful because they do whatever it takes to get what they want. And they go through those obstacles and they overcome them to get what they want. So you guys have a great week with that. Thank you so much for watching the horoscopes this week. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic, and I just want to take this time to say thank you to everybody that's been following these horoscopes. It's almost 2 years that we've been putting these horoscopes out. I actually looked on YouTube to see just how many videos we've uploaded, and there's so many of them, and you guys are what's keeping us here doing these horoscopes every single week, especially you faithfuls that have been there from the beginning and you know who you are. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means everything. Again, I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you so much for watching and have a great week. I'll see you guys next week.